Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Is my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to the Bargain Bin. He is your host, Ben Mason.
And he's your co-host, Sandra Luketic. And in honor of the 50th anniversary of Jaws, we're going to talk about a completely unrelated shark film, because we're talking 2025's Dangerous Animals. We assume if you're listening to this episode, you have already seen the movie. And it's out there. It didn't really get much of a theatrical release, but it's on streaming services. Shark movie, Sandro. 'Tis the season. Had you ever heard of this movie before I mentioned it to you?
No, sir.
I'm surprised, because I think this is a sleeper hit that's not really much of a sleeper anymore. I'm seeing people talk about it all over the internet. And I think there's a fair amount of reason for that, because normally shark movies are a dime a dozen, right? And they're all terrible.
Okay.
I think the opposite with this one, but I'm also ready for you to prove me wrong.
Oh, challenge accepted.
Okay. Now, why I originally thought this movie was going to be terrible is because of the antagonist, played by Jai Courtney. Do you remember Jai Courtney at all?
He was Boomerang in Suicide Squad.
He was. I forgot about that. But he was also John McClane's son in A Good Day to Die Hard. Not only the worst of the Die Hard films, but he played my least favorite character in any of the Die Hard films. And I have just disliked him ever since then. So I decided I was going to give him a chance when this popped up online. And I'm very, very curious to hear your opinion on his performance and the character, which we will get to. But I thought it was worth bringing up because while I'm still seeing this all over the internet, I don't know how many people have heard of it. Like you say, you didn't know about it. And I'm hoping that people listening to this will actually give it a shot and check it out, because I'm very curious about their opinions as well.
All right, then.
I assume we're not playing the game anymore, correct?
Well, we're going to keep playing it, but we're not playing it this time because there is nothing.
There's almost no cast to this movie. I think there's like 6 credited people, at least on Wikipedia. There's like 5 or 6. And I kind of think that works in favor of this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a great story that doesn't need to be drowned with too many characters. It's a very fine, direct, thinned out film. And I think I like the movie because of that.
Well, there's no drowning. You get eaten by a shark before you can drown.
That's true. Well, one person almost drowned before a shark got to them.
Yeah, almost, but still, didn't die from drowning.
Fair point. All right. So getting into this movie right now, the meat of it. Why not? We open on a younger couple walking down a dock toward a boat marked Tucker's Experience. Fine, it's nice, it's bright, it's Australia, sure, but they encounter Dave atop another dock boat, who warns them about a guy who went out on the Tucker Experience trip, took a piss off the side, and had his dick bitten off by a bull shark. Do you agree that this immediately sets the tone for the movie?
Yeah. It's a little bit of ridiculousness, but it's also a warning.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Dave?
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's definitely not there. That guy is nuts. But I kind of like him, but he's completely unrealistic.
I don't know what they got going on down there in Australia.
A lot of weird shit going on down under. But I think that is fair to say about everybody in this movie. I couldn't pin down exactly what sentiment this movie was going for, because everybody in this seems to be a caricature, a slightly overboard version of a real person. Did you pick up on that at all?
I don't think so. I think beyond, well, I mean, obviously there is not a complete realism here. But outside of this guy, Dave is a little bit of a character. Maybe that's, substance abuse, whatever. But I don't think that much of the other ones. I think there's some stereotyping for sure.
Yeah.
But I still think it stays within the lanes that it's intending.
Okay. I'll go along with that one. It just seems, I think you're right. Using the term stereotype works much better because everyone just seems a little much for me. Everyone fits into their categories, but I personally feel like they go a little haywire at times because we get Tucker next, who is played, like I said, by Jai Courtney. My immediate thoughts on him, Australian Tom Hardy.
I thought the same thing, and I was actually going to say this, but if I was to cast a movie of three brothers, I would cast him, Tom Hardy, and Logan Marshall Green.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's something about the three of them that just, if you told me they were all brothers, I'd be like, yeah, I can see it.
Oh, in a heartbeat. They all look identical, and they all have that charm and charisma. Jai Courtney in particular, insane charisma. Like I said, I never thought I'd forgive him for Die Hard 5, but holy shit, man, that's about to change.
I like Die Hard 5.
What? How?
I'm not saying it's the best one or anything, but I enjoyed it when I watched it.
Do you think it's the worst one?
Well, yeah, probably, but it's still it's one of those situations where even though it's worst, it's still good. It's just not as good as any of the other ones.
Oh, I remember it being real rough. I think I watched it twice when it came out just to make sure that I gave it a fair chance. I know I've seen it more than once anyway, and I never walked away happy.
Uses a helicopter as a projectile.
Oh, yeah, you're building a strong case for yourself.
How is that not good?
It is a spectacle, I'll give you that. But this couple, Heather and Greg, convinced Tucker to take them on one of his shark tours, even though he's technically on holiday. I'm not really sure what that means. I have to say right off the bat, film looks beautiful. Bright, vibrant, cinematography is great. And then we get drawn into Tucker's story about surviving a shark attack, but not blaming the shark. This is inconsequential, but I could honestly just listen to Tucker tell stories and be completely entertained.
Yeah, he's very charismatic, like you said.
Yeah, which I think is a flaw in this movie because nobody else is that charismatic. Something I'll bring up repeatedly in this episode is how unrelatable our protagonist is. I'm going to ask you right now, what are your thoughts on Zephyr before we even get to her?
It's definitely a stereotype. I can't stand I don't need anybody. And not to say I don't like people that are independent, but just that throw it in your face, even when that's not the topic of conversation. Yeah. Hey, can you give me a jump start? I don't need anybody. Yeah, I know I need somebody and I'm asking you for help, but okay.
Yeah. And it's a weird style of filmmaking. I don't know what they were going for when they make the villain incredibly likable and the protagonist detestable. Because at the end, you're going to be let down because you don't like who's going to win. Anyway, Heather and Greg prep for the shark cage, and Tucker guides them through a breathing exercise before they go in, which turns into a baby shark sing-along.
I found that actually pretty funny.
I laughed my ass off.
Obviously there was an attempt at a misdirect there because when he starts going and he's getting kind of serious and he's getting, all right, we got to close our eyes, got to breathe. I'm like, there's going to be a bit of a swerve here and it's going to be silly. It was way more silly than I expected, but in such a good way.
It was great. And again, just let's make the viewers love our antagonist immediately. I'm loving every second of this. And we go from me laughing out loud, mind you, to one of the most terrifying shots I've ever seen in film history. There are 2 scenes in this movie, 2 shots where I had to look away. And I got laughed at because I had to look away.
Okay.
So they're submerged in the cage. This is my worst nightmare. That being said, there are so many sharks, and it's beautiful. It looks amazing. But there is a close-up on one shark. And one thing that makes my skin crawl is watching a shark bite something. When their teeth move before the jaw moves, it seems so alien to me. And you know me and sharks, not a fan. I was so physically uncomfortable. Like I just kind of like cringed on the couch. But it is a beautiful scene, and all goes well until they get back on the boat. Tucker just straight up stabs Greg in the throat and pushes him overboard.
Yep. He just lets them go through that experience. He's like, as they're getting out, he's even like, that's a story you could tell your grandkids. Stab, 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 stab. Oh, all right. It's like, I was thinking, oh, maybe these ones are going to survive. And we find that, he's vetting a certain type of victim. Right? Because, when he's meeting them, he does kind of have that awkward moment where he's like, so you're saying no one would notice if you went missing? Right? Like, okay, cool. He's clearly looking for a type of victim that's not going to get him caught. I guess I should have known better.
It's great. I really wish I had gone into this movie without having seen the trailer first, because I think this would have actually been a surprise. It's very well done. But Tucker turns to Heather and says, welcome aboard. She screams, audio stinger, title screen. Of all of the movies I've seen in 2025, this is probably my favorite film opening.
Oh, it's great. I actually watched it with a couple of people, and we were all, at that point, invested.
Really? So group viewing? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had Josh and Alex over to watch it, and they had never heard of it either. I messaged them like, hey, guys want to come over and watch Dangerous Animals? What?
That's amazing. I wish I could have been there for that.
But I told them, I'm like, so here's the premise, and it's all I know is like, this guy uses sharks to kill people, blah, blah, and they're like, that sounds awesome. We're in.
Right? It's such an easy but amazing premise. So we jump to a gas station where we meet Moses looking for jumper cables. And we also see Zephyr cleverly stealing ice cream. Moses blackmails her into getting a drive back to his car, which apparently is 10 blocks away. I don't know about you, but when I first saw Moses, I was thinking this guy looks like a young Paul Rudd.
But talking about Paul Rudd looks like a young Paul Rudd.
That's my note says right here, but Paul Rudd also looks like a young Paul Rudd.
He doesn't age.
No, that guy's a vampire. He's like Keanu Reeves.
He had to go 10 blocks to find somebody who would jump his car. Are people that unhelpful?
I find that very hard to believe. It doesn't even need to be included in the movie. I don't know why that line's there.
He asks her if she can jump him, and she's like, I don't have cables. And he's like, okay, well, we're at a gas station. I'll go inside and buy some jumper cables, and you help jump me.
Yeah. They really force a relationship between these two. And I honestly just can't believe it. Like it might be one of the weakest parts of this movie for me. Is I don't see any connection between these two whatsoever. And they force it on us throughout the entire movie, and it never gets better.
No, not really.
No. Like, she keeps pushing him away after sleeping with him. But they do connect over their love of surfing. But, okay, on that topic, too. Their talk about CCR in this conversation. I hate everything about this. And this is the perfect point for me to say this is where I really start hating the Zephyr character.
Okay.
She mocks him for his musical preferences, liking the song Ooby Dooby, saying there are better songs like Fortunate Son and As Long as I Can See the Light. And it's a perfect example of university student mentality. I'm a loner. I'm smarter than you. I know everything about the world, even though I'm like 23. It pisses me off so much. Why can't you just enjoy a song because it's fun? Why not enjoy a bad movie because it's bad?
Yeah. It doesn't need to have this deep, moving meaning. It doesn't need to be like music. While it can be moving and it can be very, sentimental and things like that, it exists to have fun, right?
Yeah.
Whatever shape or form that takes for you, have fun.
No one's having a blast dancing to Fortunate Son or As Long as I Can See the Light. You can dance to Ooby Dooby and have a great time. And he does a decent job trying to defend it, which I appreciated immensely. And after we get this forced connection that is completely unrealistic, we cut to a sex scene, complete with Moses throwing her fin key out of the van because that won't come back at all.
So, quick turnaround to having sex all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Again, very forced, like you had said. But then also, why would he throw her fin key out? He's a surfer himself. He knows she needs that.
Yeah, but a fin key is just an Allen key. Why would you only have one?
Regardless, you still just don't throw someone's thing out the window.
I know, it was kind of weird. It's the only way, really, to get that out of the plot. We'll use it as a plot device.
Yeah, okay, so when he gets out of the van in the morning to go make breakfast, make it that he accidentally kicks it out, doesn't notice. Boom.
Yeah. That would make much more sense. There's quite a few instances where it would make more sense to do something completely different to move the story along. Zephyr's love of surfing is completely asinine. And again, it gives me that university student, I know more than you do, philosophy and mentality of like, it's us against the system. Eventually admitting that there was nothing left for her on land. Come on.
It's surfing. Like,
yeah.
Just like what we just said about the music, it doesn't have to be you against the system, which I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
It's surfing. You know why you go surfing? Because you enjoy it. It's fun. It makes you feel happy.
Yeah, exactly. There's a rush to it, a thrill. That's awesome. It's not a weapon. Admitting that there's nothing left for her on land and then being like, that's why she's surfing. Nothing says getting away from land like riding a wave that's pushing you back towards the land. This whole thing would make so much more sense if this was another Blue Crush movie, a surfing movie for teenagers, but it's not. It's a serious thriller with a more mature audience. So how are we supposed to connect with this character?
I don't think you're supposed to, because like you said, surfing doesn't get you away from land. It moves you away from it temporarily. That's it.
That's it. It makes the character seem so stupid.
Dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. That it makes me root for Tucker even more. And I know he's the bad guy.
When you make him so likable and then her so detestable, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
She is the least, what's the word I'm looking for? Enjoyable. Like spoilers for awards here. I'm not going to fucking lie. She's the least enjoyable character in this movie. And there are 6 characters. You messed up if that's the case. So Moses goes inside, makes way too many pancakes because he's a sweetheart. Goes outside and discovers that she's already driven off.
Well, it's because you got to make the pancakes, a tall stack like you see in cartoons. You can't just make the pancakes.
Yeah. Does she gets into why she's running from everything, right? Later on, like on the boat, and I just forget it. Does it even matter?
No, but I don't think she really does.
Yeah.
She was a foster child. She bounced around homes. I don't remember there being like this is the trigger of why I left.
Yeah. Anyway, she parks at the beach, realizes she doesn't have her fin key, and like anybody, just searches a random truck for one. Incredibly brazen, but it is Tucker's truck.
You done messed up now, girl.
I know, right? But I'm also like, yeah, you messed up. which is not how you're supposed to be feeling.
I agree with Tucker, where he's just like, well, not agree with him, but I'm like, Tucker says like, oh yeah, I got tons of these. You're like, yeah, as you should.
You should. Exactly. And like, we should be feeling a crazy amount of tension here, man. But as soon as he pops on screen, I'm cheering. Like, this is so wrong. That whole thing, like that buildup of tension that's supposed to be there, just fails. It falls flat on its face.
He's so jolly. He pops out of wherever the hell he pops out of, and he's got a big smile. He's, hey, how's it going? And just like, I like this guy.
Yeah. I mean, he gives her a fin key and leaves, but we get a sneak attack, and he puts a plastic bag over her head to choke her out. Throws her in his truck, takes off, back to his boat, where he puts her in the cold storage room. That's a lot all at once.
It is.
That morning, Moses finds Zephyr's van at the beach, but he can't find her. Well, yeah. She wakes up, finding herself chained to a bed, and Heather's there too. I honestly thought Heather was going to be dead at this point.
This was a surprise to me as well, but I think it helped because it gave a purpose for some dialogue.
It really did get some exposition out there. At the same time, though, and I don't know why I didn't pick up on this, I didn't recognize Heather from the beginning because I thought those, like, she and Greg were just throwaway characters. I'm like, oh my God, there's a third girl now? And it took me a few minutes. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's the one from the beginning.
But yeah, I definitely didn't have that issue.
Decent shot of Zephyr noticing another woman's name scratched into the wall, though. Awesome way of showing that they aren't the first. Something he's been doing.
It's even better when she notices the like paint.
Yeah.
And then she like cleans it off and there's even more names. And you're just like, oh geez, it wasn't just one.
It's a really great reveal. And honestly, the actor playing Zephyr, why am I let me look at the name, I'm forgetting right now. Hassie Harrison. The look on her face conveys everything I was feeling. So decent acting on her part there. Back at the beach, Moses sees Zephyr's van being towed, so he tries to report her missing to the police. And again, a scene where you should be feeling frustrated. I was just laughing. Because as he's doing it, the only info he has is her first name. And the cop who he's reporting this to has no interest in helping him whatsoever.
None. But at the same time, you kind of gotta agree with the cop too. It's like, how well do you know her? I met her yesterday. What's her last name? I don't know. How long has she been missing? An hour? Like,
yeah.
Like, these would, out of the context of the movie, you know, be like, wait, you got ghosted on a date and you're trying to get us to find her? No.
It's, yeah, exactly. This movie's all over the place in tone. And I wish it just kind of stuck to the humor more, because I think it would have made it more enjoyable. But then we get things like this, because Zephyr's trying to break the bed frame, and we get some, what I consider to be amazing acting from Ella Newton. Like crying on cue, a great monologue about how her mother warned her not to do this. I really would have preferred a twist if Heather ended up being the final girl, because I don't even know how far into the movie we are. I'd say at least 15, 20 something minutes. I care more about Heather than Zephyr. I know more about Heather than Zephyr. She has much more of a story, much more of a personality. I can relate with her. The whole thing, like, it's just backwards. Now, I do have to say, being handcuffed to a bed in a cold storage room on a boat in the middle of nowhere is insanely terrifying, and I think they really nailed that. So that's one thing the movie got perfectly.
But it made me wonder why he didn't like soundproof it or something.
I think it is pretty soundproof on its own, and considering I don't think I'm just making this up, I guess. I don't think he would just normally keep someone on there unless he was looking for somebody to put in the chair and watch while he kills them. That's the only thing I can think of as to why Heather's still alive.
See, I thought for a bit that it was that he needed to record it because that seems more important than having somebody in the chair.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's only interested in females for that. Now, it doesn't seem to be the case because he does seem to want to record Moses as well. But when they show the shot of all the VHSs with the hair, I could be mistaken. I thought it was all females.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think with the whole Moses thing, he's already starting to lose control. And he's just doing things to get them done at this point. He's not really planning anything. I think he's being pushed to rush. So I can let that go. But yeah, I agree with you. I think he's only focusing on women. Zephyr notices that Heather's bathing suit top has an underwire and uses it to try to pick the lock of her handcuffs. Smart, resilient. Tucker brings in food, Vegemite sandwiches, and water. Nothing suspicious here.
Everything about him is suspicious. You're locked in like a cold room.
Yeah. And Zephyr just like slams that water. Like, not maybe like even just try and smell it first, just in case. But no. What do you think about the chat they have with the Scarlet King Snake and the Coral Snake?
Yeah, I didn't care.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's a decent way of breaking her down, like using her colors to try and seem to be something she isn't. But yeah, the water's drugged. We knew that.
What a
I don't
twist.
like. Yeah, right. I don't like how they play it off like it's supposed to be some big surprise, though, because who didn't see that coming?
Me. I was completely surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Do you agree with me that one of the weak points of this movie, which comes up repeatedly, is that it is way too predictable?
No.
Really? With the setup of the narrative itself, we already can assume how Tucker's going to die.
Oh, I assumed it's going to be by shark, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not predictable. I'm saying that that's not a weakness to the movie. Sometimes predictable parts are fine. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to surprise me. Just do what you're doing and do it well.
Yeah, I guess it is a somewhat original premise, but it's paint by number at that point. I guess, yeah, does it make it a bad movie? No, it's still quite entertaining. So Zephyr wakes up strapped to the fishing chair on the deck of the boat while Heather's in a harness. And you mentioned before how he videotapes feeding women to sharks. Can't say I've ever seen that in a movie before. So some originality, yeah. And it's interesting and definitely makes him seem like a complete psychopath. And you follow that up with his monologue about sharks and mosquitoes. Do you agree that this is good writing?
Some of the dialogue is not.
Some of the dialogue is terrible. I'll give you that. But I feel like when it comes to spoken word in this film, it's the monologues that are written extremely well. Even Zephyr, like when you give one person a fair amount of lines, they do very well with it. But the back and forth between characters doesn't seem realistic.
Yeah,
And,
I think where the what you would call the writing stands out is the delivery more than anything.
So you think it's the acting, not the writing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the dialogue, it's not that it's bad, but it's just okay. It's what happens, like you said, the interaction between the characters, the delivery of it. That's what makes a lot of this really good.
Mm-hmm. With this though, it seems to be instant character development for Tucker, but we only really get it for him, not for her. And this has happened so many times already. I've brought it up a couple of times. This can't be an accident, right? Are we supposed to root for the villain in this movie? Just a thought.
No, we're not supposed to.
But why make us? Am I missing something here? Am I viewing this incredibly wrong? Like,
No.
why? Like, why am I rooting for Tucker when there is no like this is a horrible human being?
Yeah, but it's a movie. It's not
I
like
guess,
this is
yeah.
real life, and you
No.
need to pick. Like, you can just enjoy the villain in a movie like.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. You have to look at it that way. It's like I recently watched the new Naked Gun film, and Pamela Anderson's character saying she writes true crime novels based off of stories she fabricates herself.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on Heather's death?
It's okay.
I found it extremely effective. I thought it was very brutal and filmed very well. Definitely shows how crazy Tucker is, without actually killing her himself, but putting her in a position for the sharks to kill her. It almost removes him from the act. I found it kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And but then, and I'm very curious about this, they go from such an intense, what I think to be pretty scary scene, to Tucker's drunk dance. I'm curious to know what you think of this.
It's so good.
You liked it.
The dancing is terrible.
Yeah.
But I loved it for just how it paints the character. Like, this guy is unhinged, but he's so charismatic. And then you get this dance, which, again, it's terrible. But something about the sight of it and how he's just in his underwear and, like, he doesn't care. It's like, he just murdered a woman. And this is what's going on. Like, it's so appropriately disturbing for the character. And I do think that I'm fairly certain, and I could be wrong, that he's not trying to dance well.
No.
Which is why it's like so much better that like he acted this so well. I think this was a great scene. Like, bad dancing, but a great scene for the movie and for the tone.
You've swayed me, because I originally thought, yes, it's supposed to show how unhinged he is. I thought it made him look ridiculous. Then I read a bit of trivia about he actually got drunk to do the dance. It was just him and like the cinematographer on the soundstage while he was doing it. But you're right. I think it really does add a lot to his character. Then we get to his trophies, which I found interesting because, as we know in serial killer films, like they always keep trophies and stuff like that. What do you think about his version of a trophy in this movie?
To me, I thought it was way too much evidence.
It's very elaborate.
Like, you are just showing, like, you're giving any police or anything that finds you all of the proof that they need.
Yeah. Not only is, here you go, here's the victim's hair, like tied to like into a fishing fly, but it's also attached to the videotape of the person being murdered with your voice on the tape as well.
But it's okay. He keeps it loosely locked behind a weak-looking cabinet.
Yeah. You could just rip one of those doors off with your bare hands.
He uses a key, and it's just like, I wouldn't need a key to get in there, man.
No. You need like a butter knife and you're fine.
Yeah.
But I did count the amount of tapes.
Okay.
And Heather is victim 41.
Oof.
But he seems to be killing people at quite a rapid pace. So I'm curious to know when he actually started doing this. I think there's no way you could do a sequel to this movie, obviously. But a prequel, I would like to see.
You could do a sequel.
Not with Tucker.
No, but Zephyr takes over.
I don't want to watch a movie with Zephyr ever again.
Oh, then just get Mr. Courtney to play
Moses
her.
takes over.
Yeah, Moses could take over. He's traumatized.
Try Courtney as Zephyr. I would watch that. I would definitely watch that movie.
But no, Moses is equally traumatized. He could start doing it.
I think he could. That's a very good point. And I really didn't care for his character that much at the beginning. I'm thinking this guy's way too invested, doesn't know this person at all. But by the time we get back to him later on, I warm up to him immediately. I'm not sure what it is. Like, what do you think? There's anything appealing about this character other than his commitment?
I very much like him as a character. I love his attempts at being a hero. The only thing I didn't like is how quickly he seemingly fell in love with her.
Yeah, it I get hookups, right? I get like your one night stands and everything. Of course, totally. He's infatuated with her, and all she ever did before he became infatuated with her was insult him repeatedly,
Yeah,
and deny him help and treat him like shit. But maybe that's his thing.
I guess.
Do you think if they removed the dance that Tucker did, that the movie would have more of a sinister tone? Because I think that's what this movie is drastically missing.
No, I don't. I don't like the idea of thinking of Tucker as more sinister than unhinged, because like there's just something about like the chaos of his character that if he was more sinister, I just don't think I would like.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
And I'm not trying to say his actions aren't sinister, because I'm painting a very thin line here. But you get what I'm saying in just that, like, his motivations for his sinister actions need to be more that he is just unhinged, and not that he's just completely, diabolical.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I see where you're coming from there. But I find such a problem with this character because he is unhinged. Undeniably, he is unhinged. But then he's also cold and calculating at times. Like, look at how he assembles and presents his trophies. We know that he was actually stalking Zephyr. He stalks these women, so he's calculating that. He's being patient. He's planning things out. And then you just see him doing his like crazy drunk dance, and you see him improvise on the spot a lot. So it just seems like there's two sides to Tucker that are constantly in conflict with each other, but have the same goal. And while that may seem problematic for people like me, I'm not going to deny that. I also see how it makes that character a lot more compelling. And then it makes me even more upset when I realize that I'm trying to focus on the villain.
Well,
and not rooting for Zephyr to survive the situation.
I think you hit it, though. It gives him so much more depth. This character is more than his actions. And that's why the storytelling does such an amazing job with him.
Yeah, it really does. This is a character that belongs in more than a single film. And after we get this whole trophy scenario, we get a crazy shot, and I love this shot, and I also felt really sick watching it too. I'm curious to know your thoughts on it. We get that shot of like the top of Heather's head kind of bobbing up and down in the water, and then the camera goes under the water slightly to see the head and shoulders, and the rest of the body's just gone from the sharks. As the camera went under the surface, I almost threw up.
Really?
Because it's so gradual and it's so intentional. And for people who are afraid of the ocean like me, I couldn't handle it. Like my body got so tense. I even thought maybe like I had to go back a third time and watch it to see if it would happen again. And it did. Like it has such an effect on me. And again, it might not be the filmmaking so much as it is my phobia, but I thought it was extremely effective, completely unnecessary for the movie, but very effective shot.
I thought nothing of it.
I see. Okay, so it is just me then. That's what I was curious about.
Well, I think there is a very big level of I think there's a very strong personal level to this stuff. There's only one scene in the movie where I had to look away, and even Josh and Alex were like, I get it. But this wasn't it. I actually didn't even just need this scene in the movie, because I'm like, all right, why didn't the sharks finish their dinner?
I thought too. It doesn't really need to be there. It doesn't do anything. We already know that she was fed to sharks and they killed her.
Yeah, didn't need that.
Have we gotten to the scene that made you look away yet?
No.
Okay, well, please point that out when we get there.
Okay.
My next note just says, oh shit, Moses is still in this movie.
Yeah, well, he's still on the hunt. He's got to find that woman that he had a one-night stand with that he's completely in love with now.
Like we were saying, I thought he was just going to be a side note in this story because I didn't really care for him much, but you just grow to like him so quickly. He finds Zephyr's broken board in the surf. And I never really stopped to think about what he thinks happened. Like, did she drown? Was it a shark attack? Anything? Like, does he just immediately jump to abduction? All we know is that he's looking for Zephyr, who left him in the morning. Her van was at the beach, and he found a broken surfboard.
The conclusion that I would jump to is that she had an accident surfing, and she's gone.
Yeah, exactly. But he is intent on that not being the case, and that something else must have happened. So Tucker goes on another rant about the effects of the ecosystem if you remove the shark, considering himself to be one. This guy in nature, like even Zephyr. Zephyr actually speaks the truth here, saying, "I've never met anyone who likes the sound of their voice so much."
Yeah, I don't remember when it is in the movie too, but I love when she's just like, "Stop comparing yourself to a shark. You're not a shark. You're a coward."
Yeah, and that's it. When she speaks up to him, like, and not just like yelling at him, but when he's trying to make a point and she shows it has no effect on her, he gets all bitchy and like leaves. Like right here, it hit home, and he just exits the room. Smart move on her part too, though, of breaking the handle of her shit bucket to make a weapon.
I had a real problem with what happens next, but
prepping the syringe to drug Zephyr.
No. Further forward with the broken handle.
Oh yeah, well this is where he like walks in and she stabs him in the shoulder, I guess. Kicks him in.
Yeah, it's kind of like the collarbone area. I thought it was more the neck when I saw the shot, but later when he shows the scar, it's a lot lower than I thought it was.
Yeah, see, I thought that too. I thought she got him right in the side of the neck, but when he falls back, it's in like the collarbone. She kicks him and he falls back, hitting his head on the bed frame, knocking himself out. So is the stabbing what you have the problem with?
I have a problem with, well, a couple of things. One, she stabs him. He falls down. They make a very conscious effort to show that he smokes his head off of the metal of the bed.
Oh, and it looks great, I think.
And then he gets up like a minute later.
Yeah.
I'm like, he should be out. If you're going to do that, don't put such a focus on how much he hits his head, etc. Like, that's absurd.
Yeah, and if he does get up that quickly, at least make him incredibly woozy, like heavily concussed.
And why is she reaching for his keys?
The handcuff?
But she's got the handcuff off, right?
No.
Didn't she?
No, that's why she was reaching for the keys. Because she like the only thing she could do to get the handcuff off was try and use Heather's underwire, and she got drugged and dropped it, and he found it.
I'd have to go
honestly,
back and watch that again. Because the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking, like, run for the door sooner.
Yeah. And that's the only reason why I could even consider why she didn't, because the door was open.
Exactly. And I was thinking, like, if she's trying to get the keys to, like, say, start the boat, I'd be less concerned about that and just worry about getting out of that room, because he'd be locked in if you got out there.
Yes, very much so.
But it is what it is. Whatever. It's, again, he was knocked out, but then stayed down for only a minute, and that bothered me a little.
Me too. It was also that I don't know why this is the first time I start actually rooting for her. It should have happened way sooner in the movie.
I think you're more rooting for her because of the situation at this point.
Yeah. Okay, I'm actually at the scene right now where he's on the ground. And yeah, she went for his keys to uncuff herself, and that's when she tries to run.
Oh, okay.
But before she escapes, he does jab her in the leg. And she keeps going. But the scene on the deck of the boat, I just found really strange. Because she threatens to throw his camera overboard, and he freaks out. Like, it's a life or death situation for him.
Yeah, this would work better if they explain in any way, or if his origin in some way explained his connection to recording this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Like, And I'm going to be a little bit lighter on this based off of our conversation about how he's just unhinged and he could probably have an unrealistic attachment to things. But he could just go get another one.
Well, that's what he does.
Yeah, exactly. So why is he freaking out so much? Because he can't kill her that night, I guess?
I think it's just the realization. I mean, it's a spur of the moment reaction. He hasn't had the time to like kind of sit with it.
Yeah.
Just got stabbed.
He is a prepper too. Like we've already established. Like he needs to play things out a certain way. But Zephyr jumping in the water to swim away kind of seems like it would just be doing him a favor. He just wouldn't have it on film. Because she's not going to make it. There are sharks everywhere. And she knows she's been drugged.
Yeah, but she also doesn't believe that sharks are going to attack her if she's not bleeding or not doing anything to them.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. Would you stand and fight or willingly pass out in the ocean to be eaten by sharks? Or drown?
Well, I definitely wouldn't jump into the ocean. Because even if I was not afraid of the ocean, which she clearly isn't if she's a surfer, so I'm trying to put myself in her shoes there, I don't think I'd have the endurance to swim without knowing where I am, which direction to go, or how far I need to go.
Yep. Pitch black, middle of night. Regardless, he still hooks her and brings her back into the boat. So, all right. Moses doesn't give up and gets search and rescue searching for Zephyr. My problem here is, how do you prove that's her surfboard? Because they even say we're looking for a blonde Caucasian woman, and you're like, all you know is that Moses found a broken surfboard.
Does Moses even know exactly what her surfboard looks like? Like, I know he saw the surfboard and they talked about it, but do you think he committed it to memory that when he saw half of it, he's like, yep, that's hers?
Did he see hers or did she see his? I remember she pointed out that he surfs. And then they talked about surfing, but I don't remember him seeing her surfboard at all.
You know what? You're right. I don't know. You know what would have been so super simple if she had like a custom surfboard with her name on it or something.
Exactly.
It wouldn't take much.
Although I think he does the smartest thing in the movie above anybody else, using the beach's webcams to deduce that, he should look into Tucker's experience.
Yeah, but he just sees a truck drive by.
Yeah, it's the only other car that goes by after, and it goes the opposite direction of her van when her van pulls in. So I get that connection. And he stops it and can see like the logo for Tucker's Experience on the door of the truck. I'm actually liking this guy more and more as we talk about him.
Oh, he's a very likable character, except for his just, quickness to fall in love, I guess.
Yeah, I love how later on Tucker tells her that like it would never have worked between them because he's like soft and gooey. The movie has to stop making me laugh at the villain's jokes. But we cut to Dave and Tucker. Dave has a potential lead on new clients. Tucker's chomping at the bit to get out there and get a new camera. Immediately I thought, this is just another pointless scene. It works incredibly well for providing an opportunity for Moses to arrive and explore the boat while Tucker's gone. So at this point, I'm thinking I should really lay off and give this movie more credit. Do you think I'm right in doing that?
Yeah, I think you're trying to find that's not that it's a bad thing. You're trying to review it, but there's a lot more that you just need to let go. It's a horror movie about a dude who kills people with a shark.
True, but it's also incredibly heavy-handed at times and nonsensical at others. So if you're telling me not to look at things too much and then try and make things insanely heavy and overly intelligent, but it's not, like, it's gonna rub me the wrong way. Somehow does not stop me from enjoying this though. Tucker at the thrift store, great way of showing him unraveling even more. He's just like butting his way through and like shoving people aside, telling them to like fuck off. I could have done with a little bit more of this, but instead we cut to Moses finding Zephyr on the boat, only to immediately get the shit kicked out of him by Tucker.
immediately. But I do like that they try to give you a little bit of a misdirect by having Tucker like kind of watching the one kind of hippie girl.
Yeah.
And then he's debating on if he should keep heading in the direction he was going or go after her. And you're just like, oh, that's like, which way did he go? And obviously they're not going to let Moses succeed, but it gives you a little bit of that misdirect so that when Moses is like running upstairs to call the police and he gets like tackled, you're just like, oh, okay. That makes sense because it was well done.
I think it was very well done. And also adds more to Tucker's character of controlled chaos. Because you're thinking, I agree, you're thinking that he's on the hunt now for her. Will be stalking her. But he lets it go to get back to Zephyr. And the fight between Moses and Tucker, I thought was quite good. The poor kid getting that hook in his back, though. That was cringeworthy.
Yeah, I thought maybe he would be a little bit more phased by that, but he still fights really well and actually gets the upper hand, if not for Dave.
Dave, man.
Jeez,
Dave knocks him out good. Cricket bat to the back of the head. I'm really confused by Dave, actually. Like, he's always present. He's present all the time, right? He's always on his boat doing something like cooking or drinking, sees everybody who comes by. So he must see when Tucker takes people out on his boat and they don't come back, right?
Maybe.
Because he doesn't suspect anything. He thinks he's trying to help Tucker get money by giving people his number. Like, originally I thought he might have actually been in on it and that would be a twist later in the movie. But no, he's just an idiot. And once he hears Zephyr screaming, Tucker just kills him.
Yep.
Don't know how you're covering that one up.
He's past the point of his preparation and stuff. Now Tucker is just responding.
It's just, yeah, he's reactionary. He's crazy. He's even more dangerous. And I love that. So both Zephyr and Moses are now chained to beds in the hold. And Tucker enters, and it's harness time. And another strong point from Zephyr here. I wish she had more, because I want to like her. I just can't. Saying that Moses isn't a tourist, and people will go looking for him. He's rich. It does nothing. And then we get another smart move from Zephyr, getting Moses to stay completely still after he's in the ocean. Which I can't believe actually works, but it does.
Well, because sharks.
Exactly, that's how sharks work. Tucker brings him back on deck, and I'm thinking he'll just wait for the night. But no, he straight up stabs him and is about to plunk him back in the water, but a rescue helicopter is seen in the distance. Now, I think we can both agree that there is no fear of him actually being caught here.
No, none whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's fake tension.
Well, I don't know if it's fake tension. I saw it as just like a brief hope spot. It's like, oh, this is buying them more time now.
But again, we know how this movie's going to end.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily know how they're going to get the upper hand.
True, but I don't know. I think you're actually okay with this. I find this so problematic in movies. And that's why I said when this is so predictable that you can almost from 15 minutes in state exactly how the movie ends. Scenes like this are just lost on me.
Okay, I mean, I did have a little bit of an issue with too many hope spots in the movie.
Yeah.
Like too many opportunities where you think, oh, they're going to escape or here's their way out. And then, oh, nope, couldn't do it. Right. But again, not to like a problematic point.
Okay. So it's just me then. So chained up again, Zephyr breaks her thumb to escape her cuffs. And I love the fact that it just didn't work. She just has a broken thumb now.
Yeah. And she did all that to make me almost throw up and have to look away to not do anything.
That makes sense.
We were watching it, and like even Josh and Alex are like, "Yeah, I get why you can't watch this."
Yeah, no, that was a bad injury, man.
I don't know what it is. I can't handle broken bones in movies.
But even like the way they showed it, like watching her break her thumb was much more effective than watching her bite it off. Here's something I found interesting.
Okay.
Tucker, now talking to Zephyr again, compares the two of them, saying that they're both sharks. So for me, I get like a bit of a change from before, where he saw her as prey and putting on a front of being tough, but now almost is starting to see her as an equal.
Yeah, there was a couple points, minor points, where I thought, like, he's not going to try to recruit her.
That's where I was going with this.
Oh,
And that's
okay,
why I was
so-
thinking, if there was a sequel, like you said, it would be Zephyr. I'm like, this is Saw. This is what this movie is now. It's already close to Saw. Let's not take it in that direction. And I'm so happy that they didn't.
Okay, so I've never seen any of the Saw movies.
Okay. Sorry.
Now, don't apologize, but I don't know if what I'm about to say is just going to be ripping off Saw or not. But have a sequel where it's Zephyr, but Courtney is like in her psyche.
Not the Saw movies, but I see where you're going.
Right? Then you can still have him in the movie because he's talking to her. Her brain is broken and she is now seeing him.
Mm-hmm. No, with Saw, an example being that like one of the people that Jigsaw had in his trap, who actually survives it, ends up kind of siding with him and becoming a protege almost. I could kind of see that. I'm just glad they didn't go that route. But
I guess this would be similar, but instead of being like a protege, she's like almost like a victim to her like broken psyche, where his presence is in her mind telling her what to do, even if she doesn't necessarily want to.
Just like Norman Bates in Psycho. You haven't watched Psycho, have you?
No.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say spoiler for that one because that movie's like from 1960. She does make a decent escape attempt, though, locking Tucker in the room, but he knows how to get out. And I think it gives us a pretty decent chase scene. Although she smokes her head on that countertop so hard and just gets up immediately afterwards.
Yeah, because apparently there's no concussions in this movie, just like when he hit the bed. It's like, yeah, all right, we're good.
But then she cracks him in the face with a cast iron pan, which stuns him, but then he's up and running again. So yeah, concussions don't exist in this universe.
See, before he escaped and initiated the chase scene, I'm like, is he just going to be like, I'm just going to kill Moses, he's right here. You locked me in the room with him. He can't defend himself. He's been stabbed.
He's bleeding out hard too, though. Like, I'm surprised he's not dead already. She decides to make a break for shore. I couldn't believe she actually made it. Or how nobody could hear her or Tucker's boat approaching. But I'm also just assuming there were people there because the beach looks like it was set up for a party.
Yeah. Where was everyone?
I don't know. You could hear music in the distance, so I guess they're all inside, but still, it just seemed weird. But yeah, he catches her and takes her back. And now it's her turn in the harness. And now he's comparing her to a marlin. And this is just getting to be a bit much for me.
Yeah, don't need so many comparisons to fish.
No. And finally, we get a great white, because I've been waiting for that all movie. And Zephyr does another smart move, and that is to pull herself up out of the water. And I'm not sure why Heather didn't do the same, or anybody for that matter. But she inevitably ends up submerged, where the shark doesn't attack her because she stays calm.
Yeah, but she's bleeding from her hand where she bit her thumb off.
Yes. Well, that doesn't matter, because it only goes against everything that we've been told so far. See the problem here?
She has a bonding moment with the shark.
The scale of the shark is absolutely insane, because this thing, they make it look like a megalodon.
I do love how excited Tucker gets when he sees the shark, though.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Like, his eyes, he's just, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah, he's been waiting for so long.
Uh-huh.
The music and the cinematography make this shark look majestic, and I'm not mad at it. I think it does a really good job. But she climbs aboard the boat and shoots Tucker with a spear gun, sending him overboard. where he's eaten by the shark and an egregious use of CGI. I think that looks absolutely terrible. It just like, you don't even have to pause it and be like, oh, that looks bad. You can just watch it in real time and think this is straight up terrible. But she gets caught in the line and is dragged back into the ocean. Now, my ideal ending for this movie is Tucker's eaten by the shark, she gets dragged underwater and drowns, and Moses bleeds to death in the chair. I think this movie would really benefit from an incredible downer ending. But that's not what we get.
No.
She signals a party boat in the distance with a flare. We get a heartwarming, quote-unquote, heartwarming moment between the two as the party boat turns in their direction. Then roll credits, bad cover of Ooby Dooby, end of movie. So I think we can agree the movie's kind of a mess.
It's definitely got problems, but not as many as I expected.
Yeah, I was curious about that. We'll get into numbers here and awards because I'm really curious to hear your final take on this.
Okay.
So, how much do you think this movie cost?
I'm not sure.
I couldn't guess. I had no idea. It could have been very little. It could have been a lot. I was surprised at the number, though.
I feel like it's lower. Outside of the sharks, it's got very few locations. Like the movie has a very small cast. Most of it takes place in the cold room with only a few sets outside of that. But there is some CG there. I'm going to go, you know what? For a movie in 2025, I think this is a very low budget. I'm going to say 10 million.
2 million.
What? They did this with 2 million.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
It's insanely impressive. I couldn't believe it when I saw that number because even my lowest wasn't going to be 2 million.
No.
How much do you think it made?
So did this get a theatrical release? I thought this was like a straight to streaming service kind of movie.
A limited release and then kind of went to Shudder in the States. We haven't gotten it in Canada yet on that platform anyway.
So it mostly just got a limited theatrical release in the States?
Yeah. Worldwide, actually. But
oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a main focus in the US and Australia. I'll tell you this. It made its money back and more.
Oh, really? I was actually going to guess 1 million. So, you know what? Let's guess my previous guess for the budget, 10 million.
Close. It's 7.6.
Okay.
So it almost quadrupled the budget.
That's still pretty good. I mean, I'm blown away that they made this with 2 million.
I know. It actually makes me like the movie more, knowing that they got all of this done with that small of a budget. But that's just money. Let's get into reviews. What do you think this is sitting at on IMDb out of 10?
6.2.
6.4.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a fair number. It did better in both categories, Rotten Tomatoes, though. So for the tomato meter, percentage of positive reviews from critics?
71.
87.
Oh, I mean, good for them.
Yeah. Popcorn meter?
91.
74.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somehow the critics liked it more than the standard audience.
Feels like that never happens, but okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not? So with that, hop into awards.
All right, let's do it. Who did you have for your least favorite character?
Take a guess.
Tucker.
Yeah, right. Now, Hassie Harrison as Zephyr. I'm going to straight up say I went into this movie not liking her because of her annoying performance in Yellowstone.
Okay.
I cannot take anything away from her acting ability. I feel like she did a good job acting. I just felt the character was absolutely ridiculous. And if she stuck to what was on paper and didn't have any insight or input into how to portray that character, I'm going to say it was just bad writing. but I feel like most actors will put their own spin on things. So I think she's partially responsible, partially to blame. I could not connect with Zephyr's character, even though I know we're supposed to. She had some pretty impressive moments, some really strong moments that I really enjoyed. But for the most part, I found her character really grating. And it was at times hard to root for her, other than you just don't want to see somebody be harmed.
Okay.
Who was your least favorite?
I had Zephyr as well. A movie like this, especially with how many like fake hope spots they give you, which was I think actually Josh's biggest complaint when we were watching the movie, is just
That's
how
fair.
many times they led you to believe that they were gonna get a leg up, or obviously not like finish the movie, right? But just like kind of get an advantage, get an upper hand, get something, just to have that like rug pulled out from under you was his like low point of the movie. But if you're gonna do that, you really need to make it so that the character is likable, that people are really trying to root for that person.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they did that.
I believe the exact same thing.
Yeah. So that's why I picked her, and I don't think it could be.
And the hope moments that you and Josh were talking about, it's very much a boy who cried wolf scenario. And that, sure, you can do it once or twice, but when you start doing it repeatedly, you just expect it not to work. And at that point, why even bother in filmmaking?
You can say, yeah, boy who cried wolf, whatever. Like, the movie should have one or two of those. You need to give, at some point, a little bit of like of an opening to be hopeful. But, and I don't even think it's I don't think it's a very tall task to not go overboard with those. But yeah, the movie just did it way too many times.
No. Who's your favorite character?
Tucker, hands down.
Of course. Who else could it be? I guess there's a fair play for Moses, but Tucker all the way, man. Why is that?
Just, like we've talked about throughout the entire episode, like, he has probably the most depth as a character. Even, like I said, the dancing scene goes further into giving this character so much depth. You watch a movie like this with a horror thriller, whatever you want to categorize it as, and the villain is like this one-note character that just wants to kill people and stuff like that. But this guy just has so much depth. But to boot, the acting, the performance is phenomenal. I don't know how it could be anybody but him in this movie.
No, completely knocks it out of the park. If you cast somebody else in this role, this movie doesn't have a chance. He carries this on his back. Jai Courtney does such an amazing job. And I could easily see myself watching this a few more times just for his performance. It's so good. He is giving it 100% in every scene he's in. Even the ridiculous ones, he's committed and believable. And I want to know more about the character. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to see a prequel to this to see where maybe he started, how it all came to be. I'd be very interested in that. And that says something about the writing too and the filmmaking, that they made me, not only his performance, but they also made me care enough to want to know more. Shows that they did a good job.
I don't agree with everything you just said. I mean, you couldn't cast anyone else. I'm pretty sure you could cast the other versions of him and Tom Hardy and Logan Marshall Green, but
it wouldn't work as well. I mean, it would be good, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't be as good.
Maybe.
When it comes down to memorable line, though, that's where I feel this movie is lacking.
It is. Yeah. And this is why I was talking about, not why. This is what I was referring to when I was saying, like, the dialogue in the movie is not great. It's not exceptional. It's the delivery that makes it so good. Like, if you were to actually write down a lot of the stuff that Tucker says, especially, and this is probably the most extreme example, all those fish comparisons and the snake comparisons, if you saw that in print, you'd be like, this is so dumb. But it's the delivery that makes it so good. So it was difficult to find a line. But which one did you ultimately get?
Well, I took one from Zephyr because it is the dumbest line I've ever heard in a movie.
Okay.
And that is right before she shoots him with the spear gun. She says, "Ooby dooby, motherfucker."
Horrible.
It's a groan, audible groan on my part.
I complained about this to Josh and Alex when it happened. I'm like, the movie was so good, and then you ruin it at the end with a terrible line, and also to me, the shark just bypassing it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. It is such a horrible line written down. There's no way to make that sound good. There's no way you can act out that line, say that line, and seem like a badass. You just don't. I don't know why she would reference Ooby Dooby from the beginning of the movie. I'm assuming that it has to do with Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker from Die Hard just because of Jai Courtney. But I don't know.
No, I don't think that's it.
It's just that was the only excuse I could see for having that line in this movie. And that line, even if that was the reason, is terrible. If that wasn't what they were trying to do as a reference, then it makes the line even worse.
Without even thinking about it off the top of my head, I'd be like, let's say something like it's feeding time. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
it wouldn't take a lot to think of something better.
Yeah. Even just throwing in some like pun about chum or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was awful. And that is the one line that sticks in my mind because it almost tanked this entire film for me. What about you?
So I just went with when they were chatting after having sex. You did not just quote Point Break at me.
That was pretty good. No, that movie's fantastic.
But I just love how, he's trying to learn about her or whatever. Terrible courting scenes between these two.
Oh, yeah.
But he's asking her, like, why do you surf this, that? And then I guess she tried to pawn off Point Break as like her deep meaning kind of thing. And he's just like, no, I know what you're doing here.
Yeah. That's good. Memorable scene?
I actually had the dancing scene.
Really? It's a good one. I could see why that would stand out.
Again, and by no means am I going to try and say that the scene was like good dancing or some sort of, whatever. But for me, it was a milestone moment where I was just like, that's like where I felt like I know what this character is now, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. Sure.
What about you?
I had to go with Heather's death. I thought it was absolutely horrific. It really set the tone for the movie, especially where you don't really see the shark that much, the one that gets her. You just see her like get pulled to the side and hear her scream and see the terror on her face. I thought it was a wonderful scene, perfect for a horror film. And while it's not the best scene, it is my most memorable.
Awesome. So why don't you get into your final thoughts on Dangerous Animals?
This movie has a lot of problems, but it doesn't stop me from absolutely loving it. I was so pleasantly surprised when I caught this one because I meant to go see it in theaters and it was like in and out in, I want to say, a couple of days. I think it was only around for a week, maybe a weekend. I think it got a little bit longer play in the States, but it was so good, Sandro. I really enjoyed this. And normally I'll watch a shark movie and be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Outside of Jaws or Deep Blue Sea, I find them to be very forgettable. But the characters, even as much as I dislike Zephyr, I think she adds to this movie. I think everybody in this movie adds to it to an extent. Obviously, Tucker is running away with the show. But I didn't, other than that one scene of bad CG, I didn't mind the CG. I thought the characters, while all of them were over the top, it still made it pretty enjoyable. Jump to a few conclusions here and there, but the setting I loved because you get like the massive city, but then you get calm isolation out in the waters. So the whole thing worked really well for me, and it did come together in the end, which I always appreciate. It didn't just leave you there. I wish it was a downer of an ending, but I get that you can't really do that anymore. All in all, like I thought this movie was pretty fantastic, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody, even if they're not a fan of shark films. Like, you just tell people to watch this for Jai Courtney, straight up. You want to watch and completely enjoy a performance. I can't really think of much better right now. Definitely not in anything that came out this year. What are your thoughts on the movie?
I'm with you in that I definitely recommend this movie. I very much enjoyed it. I can say both Josh and Alex enjoyed it as well. It is absolutely problematic. I don't understand how you fail to stick the landing so poorly when you're doing so well with the movie. Like, I scoffed when the shark just swam by her, and I'm like, oh, why did they focus on this big scar on the side of the shark? Oh, did they have some kindred moment? No, it just chooses not to attack her. And I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I'm concerned because her hand is bleeding, and I'm like, that's not a good situation to be in. But until it's just not. Like, oh, this shark is dangerous and I'm at risk, but no, I'm not. Why? And then the ooby dooby line. Come on. It would have been better if you said nothing.
Yeah.
Just shoot him. But
yeah,
despite the flaws, the performance was fantastic. The runtime was great. Phenomenal premise. This is an easy recommend. Maybe a little bit long in the tooth with like how many of the hope spots they did, but that really doesn't bring it down much.
No, I'm really glad you liked it, because it's very rare that we find a movie that comes out of nowhere that is this much fun. We really enjoyed it. It makes me so happy. Everybody I've talked to who has seen it really doesn't have much of a complaint other than some stiff acting here and there. It's great. We need more of these. We really need to see more of these. And it makes me want to kind of wonder what else we're missing that's coming out of Australia.
All right. So that's our thoughts on Dangerous Animals. If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can hit us up on social media. We're on Twitter at BSBargainman, Facebook.com/BSBargainman, and of course the comment section of the YouTube video. Ben.
Yeah.
What are we watching next week?
Well, I saw a trailer recently for a remake of a film that got me really excited to check it out. So I feel like next time we're going to be talking about the original, and that is 1983's Deathstalker.
Journey to an age of great kingdoms. An age of awesome magic. An age of terrifying evil. Where one man sought the key to the ultimate power. He was the man they called Deathstalker.
Reunite the three powers. You will be power.
A brave man could get inside one car's castle and kill him.
If he can capture the amulet of life, he will rule the world. But an evil wizard stands in his path. And to the victor, a beautiful princess. The greatest challenge. The greatest adventure. The most legendary hero of them all. The man they called Deathstalker. The last great warrior king. Starring Richard Hill and Bobby Benton.
Until next time, have a good one.
All the best.
This program is a proud part of the Swear2Pod Network.